Good morning, Chuck here at Garden Spot Acres. Welcome back to the Playhouse build. Hey, been working on the inside a little bit. Got one window trimmed off here. Got the back wall sided. The one side wall is almost totally sided. And today we're gonna pick up over here and I will side past the window. Show you how I'm doing that. We'll side all the way down 1 foot away from this front wall. I have different plans for the front wall. And once we get that sided, we'll come in here and I'll show you how to trim out a window. Okay? And when we get there, we'll start with the window sill, and we'll do the top, the sides, then we'll trim off around it. Then we'll put our decorative piece on, just like we did over here. So we start with our sill, put our top on, then we'll go to our side pieces. Then we'll trim off here, put this one on, then this one, then we'll trim across the top. Then we'll put our decorative piece underneath. Now that decorative piece does a couple things. Your windowsill does come out past your wall. It adds a little support underneath the windowsill. Plus it gives it a nice little touch under there and trims it off. All right, I already placed my first piece of siding in here, my planking. So the next piece here is gonna overlap the window opening. So I'm just gonna place that in and we're gonna scribe behind it. Then I'll fill this in and we'll fill the bottom in. Then we'll start over here with another full piece. Along the way, I'm gonna have to cut these construction screws off. If you remember, you can go back and watch the video where I put the trusses in. Those screws are coming down from the truss. It's lagging through on an angle from up here, going through the truss, going through the top plate, and they just happen to be a little long and it came out the side. So I got those three I have to cut off. Those are what's holding my trusses in. You know, holding them on top instead of using like a hurricane tie. And they're also toenailed up in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this piece done. Then we'll come across the window. Then when I get to these, I'll end up cutting those off. I'm just going to come back here and trace the openings. And we'll go out and cut that chunk out of there. That's the chunk that's overlapping the window right here. All right, when I cut this, I'm gonna cut on this side of the line over here. I'd rather have this small than large. I don't want any of this extending out into my window area where it's gonna interfere with my trim. So I'm gonna cut on the good side of the line. It will plunge this one in. Ah, it smells like a log cabin. It smells like our place when we built it back in 1988. All pine, fresh lumber. Smells good. So you can see that there. Again, I don't want to sit proud of my framing of my window. So everything is back from there and it's back here. So everything can go over the top. And up here, my trim can come out without being interfered with my board. I'm using 2.5-inch framing nails. Just regular common framing nails, not galvanized. This will be trimmed off up here. Of course, this will be trimmed here. So I can go ahead and put a couple nails in here. And I mentioned this previously, when you're putting this tongue and groove siding on, don't nail here. You don't want to tighten that so much against the studs that you have trouble sliding the next piece in. So leave those and nail them on the next board. So like I did here, I nailed here, then I went over here and nailed on this first board here. All right, so I gotta go get my grinder. I gotta grind these off. And our 2 little girls came over to greet me. Remember this one here? That's Lucy. And this is Beatrice. They're good girls. These guys are about 7 months old right now. Boy, are they fun to play with. They're good girls. They always think they're getting a snack, but they're not right now. You can see Lucy, look how big her belly is. Beatrice not quite so big. Ah, got a metal cutoff. That's great. Gee, I hope I don't set the place on fire. Now I already got some 4-inch pieces cut here, just to put in up above the window. And I'll just tack them in the center. I just said don't do that a minute ago, just did it. And you see the problem it causes? Makes it hard to slide that piece in now. Don't hammer on your tongues. Put a piece of scrap lumber in there. They're still hot. When you're building, see this part of this groove is the extension on the groove here is gone, but by the time I put my trim on there, it's just going to be a little piece. So instead of wasting this piece of lumber, I'm going to go ahead and use it. So here I'm out picking through my remaining pieces of lumber. And I don't want to take the pieces out of the long pieces. I want to find a short piece, or this piece here that's really bad. I should be able to get that below the window piece out of here. So that'll save that. And go into the scrap bin, I can use it up. Oh, let's see, I forget that number. 31 5/8 is good. So I gotta do the same thing back here. And I'm not too worried about some gaps. This is not really, that gap is not that big. But there's a little bit of gap here. But by the time I'm done, it's going to be trimmed off down to here. It's going to be below a window. And if you've ever worked with tongue and groove, you know that it opens up and closes up with the weather anyways. So no matter how tight you make this, on a dry day, she's going to open up. On humid days, they're going to close up. You never get away from that. Got it. Okay, she's running pretty good there. Look at along that edge. I'm on my last board on the wall. And you can see here, I am running a little bit. So up here, she's maybe a 1/4 inch inside the stud. Down here, she's right on the stud. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure from here over to here. And I can do 12.5 inches. And I'll mark it up here 12.5. And I'll mark down the bottom from this stud 12.5. And I'll come down here, measure 12.5 at the bottom. Yeah, let's get it down. Get it down a little lower, near the bottom of the board. There we go. Okay. She's good. Let's get to work on the window. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the windowsill. Now when I cut the windowsill, I got to make sure I have enough depth. I'm going to go right up against the window, right here. I got to make sure I come out far enough so I can still trim underneath. Remember this over here? So I know this stuff here is 5/8. Okay, my PVC trim. So I got to come out from here past that. I'm just arbitrarily, that's like 7/8 of an inch. So let me see what I cut these at. 5 inches. So I'm going to cut this 5-inch wide. All right, so it's going to come out way out to here. Remember, it's going to have a support underneath it, so it's not just going to be floppy here. I also need to figure out my length here, but my length can't just go from here to here. I have to take into account my trim that comes down the side, because that rests on top of the windowsill. Let's come back over here and look. See the trim on the side, the finish trim? That rests on this lip here, okay, which extends beyond. All right? So how long did I make this one? 31 inches. It's 31 by 5. I left marks on here, and I'm pretty sure I marked that 21 and a quarter. Yep, 21 and a quarter. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I need a board 31 wide, or long, 31 long, 5 inches wide. I just happen to have those cut right here. So there's the board. But it doesn't fit. Yeah, I gotta cut these out. I gotta cut a corner out of these to leave that little lip out here and a little lip over here. So I gotta cut a corner out. So all I'm gonna do, I know I need 21 and a quarter for the opening. You see the 21 and a quarter. So I'm gonna find the center of my 31 board. I'm gonna measure out half of 21 and a quarter on each side. Then I gotta measure the depth, which is 3 3/4, to cut that chunk out of the corner. So I'm gonna go find the center, measure half of 21 and a quarter each side. That'll give me my cutout area. So let's find half of 31, which is what, 15 and a half. So 15 and a half is right there. Now I gotta come over half of 21 and a quarter, which is 10 and a half, 10 and 5/8. So that'd bring me up to 20 and 5/8. I'm gonna go a little shy of that. Make sure I write back on that 10. Okay. So 20 and 5/8 is right there. That would be 10 and 5/8. I'll switch this around. Put this right at 10. So I want 10 and 5/8, which is right there, a little shy of that. Again, I want this to fit in. Okay. Now I have to cut out 3 1/4. So I'm going to take my, wherever my square is. There she is. I'm going to go back this way. And I'm going to go back 3 1/4 from here. Now I'm going to go a little more than 3 1/4. I want to make sure this fits. So I'm just a touch more than 3 1/4. If it doesn't fit, I'll have to come back out here and trim it a little bit. A little more than 3 1/4, right about there. Okay. Now this time I want to cut on the bad side. I want to leave the line, basically. I don't want to overcut it. Before I cut, let's make sure we laid that out correctly. Can't go back and fix it after I cut it. So let's come back in here and see if I laid this out correctly. See, it's gonna fit right in. I'm cutting this corner out, leaving this, okay? Yep, look how she's gonna fit right in there. Again, I'd rather have this a little loose and a little tight, because my side pieces coming down are gonna hide any shortness here. That looks good. Okay, we'll see how that looks in a little bit. Let me cut the other one out. I like the cool breeze today, but it doesn't make sawing fun. Now before I place that in, I'm going to go ahead and run a bead of caulk in here. I know the little turkeys that are going to get this playhouse are going to, sooner or later, going to leave these windows open in the rain. And I want to seal this as much as I can so water can't get down in behind here. This should all be sealed within the window. So any window water that comes in gets caught in this channel and it runs out. But if the window's open, it can come and lay on this. So I'm going to run a bead of caulk in here. I'm just using clear silicone. I'm going to run it along the sides. You can see when I stapled this one, I'm hiding most of my staples. You don't see any in here. So I'm going to staple over here. Put one right there. These are galvanized 1¼ inch staples. Hold that in place. I'll put a little bead of caulk right here. And I'll stop it right there for now. I don't want to get too much on this edge right here because I got to bring a board down here to sit in here. So I'll caulk that before I put those side pieces on. Let me just run my finger on there. Just wipe it across there. Turn around. Wipe it across. And get rid of that slippery stuff off my finger. There. Okay, there's your windowsill. All right, that's all there is to the windowsill. Next one. Now we're going to put the top piece in next. Okay, I don't want to put these side pieces in next. I'll have trouble putting my top in if they're not perfect. So I'll put the top piece in next, then I'll put my side pieces in. So 21¼ So I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece of this PVC, 21¼ Go across the top. Snug, but not snug enough to hold into place without me nailing it in place. I'm going to go ahead and put a nail right in the center, or a staple, and I'll put it back a little bit in the back side here. And I just screwed that up. I'll show you why. Wasn't thinking. I need this PVC to be proud, in other words, extended past these boards in order to get a good look on my trim when I go around the window. So I'm going to take that off See, I'm glad I didn't put 6 or 7 staples in there. If you're wondering how these staples hold, really well. Really well. Let's see if I can't break them off there instead of bending them over. There we go. I'll put them back here. Nobody will ever know they're there. Oh, okay, let's put it back in there. So I need that overhanging a little bit. I forgot that. There. So you got a little lip up here now. Not much of one, but enough for this other piece to come on and make a nice tight joint. Okay, that takes care of that top piece. All right. Let's see what I need here. Shy of 29. Let's see what this size is. Shy of 20. Oh, almost exact. I'm going to go a 1/16 less than 29. I want these flush up here. I want these flush. So I'll make sure that's pushed back. Okay, we got our side trim on. Side trim here. Not perfect up in here, but I'm gonna get probably some off-white caulk, and we'll just trim along. We're just caulk here a little bit, fill that in. You could go ahead and caulk these or run some filler over top of these, but again, if this was wood, when you varnish it, they're gonna hide, just be little dark spots. It's gonna blend right in. Or you can hide that, with this here, with some white caulk or some off-color caulk. No biggie. If you're gonna finish, you would use a finish nailer and probably go ahead and fill the tops. But what do we got left here? We're gonna trim up here now. Now when I trim this, I'm gonna measure from down here up here, and I'm gonna leave about an 1/8 inch reveal, so my side pieces are gonna go beyond the top of this, about an 1/8 of an inch. This side is gonna be 29, and I can do a 29, maybe 29 a little heavy. That'll bring me up a little bit, leave a reveal. All right, so let me go cut a couple 29s. Yeah, they're going to go in just like that. You see the little bit of reveal I'll have up here? Now these I'm going to try to tack from here into that other piece of trim. Just like that. It'll hold that nice and tight. See the little reveal? Okay. Anytime I think about something like, gee, I hope I don't come out on an angle, usually happens, so I don't think about it. Try not to think about it anyways. Put a couple in there. I'm putting these in and I'm not holding this really tight against. I want to seat them, but I don't want to push it so far tight it pulls this and opens this gap up here. I do believe over here I went 31 just like my bottoms. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a 31. Come right across here with it. And that's the way you trim out a window. We got one more piece to put on, which is our decorative piece on the bottom. And I think I made that 1/2 inch shy over here on each end, so it'd be 30 inches. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut a 30 inch. Then I'll cut these corners off, and that'll take care of our window over here. Now here what I did to cut those little angles, I just went 2 inches. Marked 2 inches this way. Oh, I was gonna center this. Look at my sides. Pop one here. Window's all trimmed. Not a lot of big deal here to do this. I'm just gonna go ahead and run a little bead of silicone right here to seal that in case water comes in here. These are also gonna get a few coats of marine varnish, exterior varnish on the sills here. So, we accomplished what we wanted to today. We got the side panels, the side paneling done. Back's all done, the other side is done. So thanks for coming along. I appreciate it. Last week I had over 500,000 video views. Thank you guys so much. A lot of those views came from my Amish harvesting series. You can find that. I'll leave a link in the description. I'll put a link at the end of this video also in the cards to that video series. Playlist. Thanks for coming along. I appreciate you guys watching the video. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.